The kids parade Van Nuys Boulevard every Wednesday night in candy apple-coloured cool rods. What have you had done to your car?
Well, I've put on tires and rims and the side exhaust and the paint job, television, chrome plating to the engine and the differential.
So what do you reckon that you've spent on this car in all?
Counting the cost of the car and everything, about $6,000.
Now, what sort of job do you do?
I worked in a shoe store, selling shoes.
Well, how do you get this kind of money to chrome your differential?
I don't know.
Now, what is the point of spending all this money on the appearance of a car?
Just for looks and to impress people, I guess.
Do you ever let it out in the rain?
No, it's never been driven in the rain.
What is the point of coming down here? Tell me.
A lot of people. There's a lot of girls.
Oh, that's another thing. Yes, I understand that. But, I mean, you park the car by the roadside, and then what?
Look at the different cars, look at the paint jobs, you know, getting different ideas from the cars.
You're standing on the corner watching the cars go by, not the girls.
Mainly.
Now, the police seem very active down here. I've seen them going up and down all the evening. Do they give you a lot of
Hassles?
headaches?
Yeah. They stop everybody for anything.
There's a policeman just behind us, stopping somebody there.
Yeah.
Anytime you commit a traffic violation, it's going to be your fault.
Okay, thanks for your cooperation. I guess they don't like us. They're just jealous that they're too old. The older fellows are looked after on posh Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills by Charles Schmidt, who doesn't sell second-hand cars, no indeed. He sells pre-owned automobiles in an armor-plated atmosphere.
The reason why we have most of this type thing in my showroom, I think it gives people a little bit more comfortable feeling, that it isn't the cold, typical automobile salon where you're just ready to get the ardor pad out and start writing. So it gives them a little bit more of a relaxed home type feeling. And I found it to work.
Is that a home type feeling?
Depends on where the home is.
What about that Stutz there? Now, that's worth £16,000, you know, and it's a sort of brute, isn't it, really? I mean,
Well,
nobody's going to accuse it of being particularly beautiful.
I don't particularly like the car myself, but there are people who feel that it's a handsome, I call it an ego trip type car, really.
But it looks to me as though it's put together by a committee, you know, like a camel.
Very much so. Its lines are a little bit to be desired. But
So how do you justify £16,000 then?
well, this is the market price of the car, and that's what people are paying for.
Now, you sold a 1927 Brewster Rose, which to me is not a particularly distinguished mark, for £50,000 the other day.
Yes.
Now, he thinks that in 5 years' time, it's going to be worth $1 million.
Well, that I wouldn't want to make a comment on. $1 million is an awful lot of money for an automobile. I think that's a far long term away. There are cars that will have great growth periods. This particular car that we're looking at right now is a 1932 2025 molar body, three-position drop head. This car we're asking in American dollars, $28,000. This is a good buy and a car that will increase in value.
You're sounding like a salesman now, you know.
Well, that's what I actually am, sir.
What kind of people come to you and listen to this marvelous spiel of yours?
Well, we have all different types. To give you an example, I've had a gentleman in his early 60s who is an elevator operator here in Beverly Hills who went off with a 1965 Bentley S3 Molar Park Ward convertible.
How much?
For $25,000.
£10,000.
Yes, sir. Now, an elevator operator is not one that would normally buy a car like this, but he had cashed in his life insurance policy for the down payment. So when he becomes 65 and he's retired, he will own this car that should be worth more money than what he paid for it, perhaps quite a bit more.
Now, do you think you've got a better deal with a Bentley than you would have with life assurance?
Well, it's what I wanted, so it's to my benefit to invest in what I want. The life insurance probably would be for somebody else, so I'm enjoying what's at the moment for what I should.
What decided you to buy a Bentley?
Well, the goodness that was in that car.
It's not
It
because
made me
it's the
think-
most expensive car.
No, the expense, that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's the workmanship that goes into that car. It's what it stands for. The intent of the workmen that put these parts together. That's what they want. They want to make the best. A job well done. And I feel that each man who has a part in this car, that's the way he looks at this car. It's something to create, that there's nothing any better. It's the best that there is available. So that's the way I look at it.
Your wife thinks that as an elevator operator, you shouldn't have a car as splendid as this. What about your neighbors here? What do they think?
Well, I'm sure they enjoy it when they see the beauty of that car. But the other day, a man walked up to me and said, "Where do you get all of those crazy cars?" I said, "It's not easy." And that was all.
Do you know any other lift operators who drive Rolls Royces?
No, I'm not familiar with any. No, I'm afraid not.
Outside his mobile home, Bill Dunlap, delightfully pixelated. So, depending upon your age, the car's an adored child or mistress. This consuming passion means that while most of the enamored can only afford to go steady with their regular mistress in the garage, or perhaps indulge in a passing pickup in the street from a rental company, some enthusiasts can keep a whole harem. A gentle example of fatherly love, Bud Cone, age 77, has 23 cars and sends favourites 6,000 miles to England for £15,000 overhauls.
Well, I love fine machinery. I've always loved machinery. I love to work on it. I started as a kid working on cars, and when I could afford it, I made up my mind I would have some cars. The National, to my opinion, was the greatest car ever built in America. This is a Spanish Suizo, which is known as a model H637.2. The car has an airplane motor in, which when hooked two together, helped the Allies win in World War I. This car we're coming to now is the famous Wallace Ghost. The motor in this was used 7 days continuous, 24 hours a day, to defend London in the Blitzkrieg.
Doing what?
Running a pumper.
A fire engine.
Yes. Nothing is stock in it. Even the lamps come off a German bomber.
What's this one?
Is, I guess, my favorite. It's one of the 7 SS's converted to SSK for English road racing. Carries all your English equipment, English Corsica body, English lamps, and is capable of speeds up to 140 miles an hour. It'll still run and run like hell.
Now, can you explain to me why you collect cars? What do they do for you?
Well, a car will do for you what a fine picture will do, while a painting, what a violin will do. You feel the life of the automobile. Now, a car standing and not moving does very little for me. It's the type when you take the car and drive it, when you restore it from a dead object, rusty, and take it and build it up to something that runs, you feel you've accomplished something.
But you're not buying them for profit.
No, not at all. I'm not in the business at all. I seldom get rid of a car. Now, if I have a car, and I've had them that did nothing for me, they just ran, I get rid of them quick. They're no inspiration.
Certainly, unlike some motor museums I've been to, this is a living collection. You come down here and you listen to them and touch them and pat them and feel them and smell them.
Like you would your children.
Yes.
And I have developed a very interesting theory, namely that the cars of the world have a sound which actually depicts their own country. You take that German car, which is a big, heavy racing car. It's got that guttural boom, boom, boom German sound. And you take the Hispano Suiza, which is the French origin. You will have that French ping, 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 typical of the French. The American is a combination of all. The Rolls has a finesse, like a nice English gentleman, very well regulated, cut off right. When I was a kid, I used to sit on the corner when I was 11 years old and would sit there with our eyes like this, and down the street would come a car. And there'd be a dozen of us, and we'd all say, National? Boom, boom, boom. You know, the National had the loudest exhaust of any car, and we'd look up. Now, if it wasn't a National, we were fit to be hung. We were ashamed because we had to know from the sound what car that was. Not our eyes, but our ears.
Now, what do you think, inadvertently, you've collected here in terms of hard cash? If you were to sell a lot, what would they be worth?
Oh, it's hard telling. It's very hard telling. Certain cars would bring fortunes in excess of $100,000, but actually, I prefer not to think of them financially. I think I'm only aesthetically of the good they do me, the fun. This is something that you've got to feel, the same as tuning a violin. You've got to get that certain chord to respond to you if you love the car and love the motor.
Are these all violins here?
They're all violins to me, and they all play well.
This Rolls-Royce here,
yes.
It's a very curious line, I find. It's like an Aubrey Beardsley drawing, and the back doesn't look like a Rolls at all to me. It looks as though it's been put together by a Hollywood film studio.
No, the Rolls definitely has the original back.
But it's a hybrid. It's an amalgam of everything.
It is, but it's the best of everything in Rolls, and it handles like a baby carriage. It probably have had more offers for that car than any two cars I've got, and you wouldn't believe the amount of money that's been offered.
And she runs.
Runs perfect. You can't hear it run.
Can I have a drive?
You can have a drive, but I think you'd rather go in the fast car, whatever.
No, I'd rather go in the road.
All right, we'll go in the road.
Nothing but the best. Half a century old, but easily keeping up with youngsters born well after the Blitz. The snag with all this fine free passion in a nation of 90 million cars where another 25,000 are built every day is its popularity. Impossible to escape the frustration of traffic. Well, almost impossible, for here's a solution. A standard Ford Pinto, a production model baby car costing about £800. But watch closely. This one has an optional accessory. A flying car, or if you like, a door-to-door aircraft. The Cessna airframe and aero engine clip on in a couple of minutes, and the steering column's also the joystick. Flying speed, 140 miles an hour. Range, 1,000 miles. Cost, around £5,000. Say, well under half the price of a Rolls to get not only ahead of the Joneses, but 12,000 feet above them.
Here, Dyer, this is my Dyer 166 there, ready to go once clear.
Razor 676, you roll when you're ready.
Okay, rolling.
If you can't bear to be parted from your car, this is a lovely way to go. But like most other passions, however intense, it's over all too soon. And this is the end of a love affair. You could even call it, I suppose, a breakup.
Are you
trade. Go see Cal.
Better deals were never made. Go see Cal.
You'll never find a better service department than the service department we have at Worthington Dodge. We'd sure like to invite you out to see us. Here's what I'm talking about. Here's a nice...
One reason Dodge sales are up 28%. See why at your local Dodge dealer.
If you want a better buy, go see Cal.
$1,000 off the fabulous new Travelall and up to $800 off this great party pickup.
Buick Skylark 4-door, factory air, automatic transmission, radial heater, white walls.
So don't miss it. See one of these international dealers today.
I will stand upon my head till my ears are turning red.
Maybe you don't have the money for the down payment. Maybe you need some help on the
Hollywood or Santa Monica.
Drive the bargain of the year.
Take your time, shop around, pick out the car you like, and we'll go in and we'll
beats the bulk builders.
Be disappointed. Do come and see us, and do it today. We're open every day. We're open till midnight every night. Load up the kids and come on out.